build, where you can almost never die. So anyways, as you can tell, I am on my Warden, believe it or not, Tank Warden. So, let's get into the nitty gritty of how I have this set up. I know what I'll do is I'm going to start off with the armor set. So here in my inventory, keep in mind, people can run this build kind of sort of different, but if you don't want to die, or you don't want to get smacked around a lot in vet trials too hard, this build may benefit to your able and or to your capabilities. So basically, what I'm running in the set are the 5 pieces of the Eternal Yokita. Basically, you can get these you can run them through the vet trials of Hellrod Citadel. So, let's start off with the Eternal Yokita, the 5 sets you're going to need. Keep in mind this tank is fully golded out from the Eternal Yokita. Basically everything here, as you see as I'm scrolling down, is all golded out. So we're going to start off with the Eternal Yokita set. This is a beneficial thing to use if you like to run the Eternal Yokita. I find it highly helpful to use it, especially in the harder content, which basically has worked for me so far. So, the way this works is when you get the 5 pieces of the Eternal Yokita, do the vet trials, it actually gives you, of course, 2 items will give you a 4% healing taken. As you keep going down, you'll also get Minor Aegeus, which will reduce your damage taken from any dungeon, trial, and arena monster by 5%. But, when you go all the way down, if you collect all 5 sets, you'll get, you take damage while, so basically you take damage while below percent health. Okay, let me reread this to y'all. So, when you take damage while below 25% health in combat, you heal for 26,410 health and gain 100 ultimate. Gain 100 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 1 minute, and the heal scales off your max health. Basically, what that means is the higher the health as a tank, the better chances you have of living longer through any normal dungeon or vet dungeon. Which actually, to me, I find it helpful. As you know, tonight I am actually going to be on this character to be running our normal prog team, so that will be beneficial to me tanking there. Now, for the Monster Helm, I'm running Iceheart's Visage. Basically, you get a 953 maximum health, but make sure it's impenetrable so you can get your increased critical resistance by 127, and this item takes 50% less durability damage. So basically, if you run these 2 sets, also this is important for the shoulders, make sure these are, see I'm running light for the shoulders and I'm running heavy for the head. So basically if you're going to run light, if you're doing this setup as I have it set here with the Monster Helm, mixture of light and heavy, there are some good properties to it. So basically with these 2 items together, you're going to you get basically an added 657 critical chance, and then on top of it, that's 1 item. Basically, if you've got 2 items, you deal critical damage while you have 20% chance to gain a damage shield that absorbs 5,000 damage for 6 seconds, while the damage shield holds you, of course. You deal 729 frost damage to all enemies within the 5 meters of you every 1 second. Now, keep in mind, this effect can occur every. Basically, this effect can occur every 6 seconds, and the damage scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage, which to me I find helpful there as well, along with the Eternal Kita. And last but not least, the armor you can find in Depths of Maltar, whether if it's normal or vet, will give you, basically you'll get a maximum health. If as long as you're wearing the heavy armor as a tank, you need that maximum health to keep yourself alive and last longer, and you're not going to be a limp noodle. So basically, it's important for the chest piece, you want it impenetrable. Everything else could be sturdy and divine. See, I have that all mixed in. So that basically with the Frozen Watchers, that also helps. But on top of it, what I find interesting about this setup, now let's just go over here for a minute and I will show you what I'm talking about. Now, when you block, you get this Frozen Aura. Now, this Frozen Aura is helpful when you're running any type of trial, dungeon, or anything, mainly arena, which actually will help you to do damage a little bit with your party. If you're in a trial, this will help. This will actually help a lot when you're in a trial with your party. So it makes things burn a little bit quicker, not too fast, but just at a steady rate, and people can help burn the ads and our boss at any time rate. And basically, that just will help in one factor or another. Now, this build, keep in mind, we're going to go into skills. Right now, I have Animal Instincts. It is best to have the Bull Netch if you are running, basically if you're running on a Stamina or Magicka, it's always used to have a Bull Netch. So basically, do this. So this will recover your stamina. If you are a DPS and if you have a Warden in DPS, you would want to use the Magicka version of the Bull Netch. So basically, for tanks, it's important to use the Bull Netch to restore your stamina, and basically that does help, and it saves you a whole buttload of trouble, even if your guild member or group member gives you the resources to replenish your Magicka and stamina. Also take advantage of that too. So that actually will help you in the long run, so you're not caught with your pants down. So, other stuff here I have as a morph. I have Polar Wind, which is maxed out. This will basically, you basically envelope yourself in the winter winds, instantly healing yourself and an ally. And keep in mind, it only heals one ally. So just keep in mind, if whoever's closer to you gets that receiving heal, which is good. So basically, this works only within 12 meters for 9,624 health, and healing yourself for an additional 1,164 health every 1 second for 5 seconds. And this is a portion that scales. Basically, it's a portion. Basically what's saying is this portion of the ability scales off your max health, which basically, if you're a tank and you have, let's say you're like close to that 50,000 health, it'll scale off to that. Another thing to keep in mind, also you want to do, being a tank, you want to get this, you want to get the Ice Fortress. This is going to help you hugely. It requires 40-50 Magicka, but basically what you're doing is you're wrapping yourself in a big sheet, like a thick cloak of ice, and it also helps with your allies as well. So it basically grants a major resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5,948 for 25 seconds, which is pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that one. That actually helps a lot. See now, a lot of people would run Shield Bash for your. This is where people may differ from. So basically, I am actually for this character running Inner Rage, which helps me more. It's maxed out, but the thing that helps me about this, not only is it maxed out, it ignites the fires of hate in an enemy's heart, dealing 25, 26 magic damage and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. So that's good. So basically, the trick to doing that is you taunt them. You can basically, poke them. If you want to use like your poke ability and your two-handed sword, sword and shield ability. But I don't use that. I actually use the R1, but that's either here or there. I use the shield bash. I'll get that in a moment. So basically, what this does is a ranged ally targeting the taunted enemy can activate the Radiate Synergy, dealing 4,728 magic damage to them over 3 seconds. Then an additional 4,736 magic damage to them and other nearby enemies. So basically what this is, it's like an area effect. So basically you have a max amount of health. As a tank, when you pull them, you're going to have, sometimes you could be lucky to hold them in larger numbers. It depends on the setup. Depends what you got going on for everything else. So, now, I don't use the shield bash very much unless, the invasion, but normally I use that in dungeons. But every now and then, I will use it in trials to get the enemy's attention. I usually mix up between the Inner Rage and that, so it keeps them more focused on me. There's not much to this. Basically, it's just you're rushing into an enemy. You ram them for the 2668 physical damage and stunning them for about 4 seconds, which, in my case, you have to kind of excuse me. I'm kind of like suffering from a little bit of an allergy issue this morning. But basically, it'll get them for 4 seconds, which really I'm not going to complain about it. But I don't use it a lot because 4 seconds, it's a small window. So you can use it. You don't have to use it, but it's an option if you want to use it or not. So basically, what this does, once you morph this out, it'll stun up to 50% longer based on the distance traveled. So basically, if you're from like a certain distance and you're ready to like use it in that distance, you can use it and that won't be a problem. If you're further, it might take a little longer. And I'll keep this in mind. This is my main slot bar, all this right here for the sword and shield. So just keep that in mind. If you're using it, if you're going to run this setup on the sword and shield aspect, make sure you do it. If not, people can do it differently. People have different ways of doing it. I know there's going to be some elitists who are just going to complain that say, oh, that's not how you do it. But the thing is, in some cases, some people do it, some people don't. It depends on preference. So don't leave any nasty comments in my channel because you'll be blocked. I'm being serious. Play the way you want to play, basically. So, now we get down to Permafrost. This is very simple. I mean, you can get this ability from Winter's Embrace. So, don't be afraid to use it. Sometimes what that will do, and I just backed out from it. So, basically, Permafrost, it creates a violent storm around you, dealing 1222 frost damage every 1 second for 12 seconds to enemies around you, and reducing their movement speed by 70%, and applying chilled status effect. You and nearby allies gain major protection, reducing your damage taken by 10%. That is actually good, and if you're a tank and you're not using that, there is something definitely wrong with you. So now we're going to go to the back bar. This is one that I kind of hobbled together a little bit, but this is kind of what I did. So, like I said, don't leave anything nasty. So basically now you have the gripping charge. This is also in the Winter's Embrace. This actually, if you activate it, this will give you... basically, this will give you a good damage ability. It'll last for a little bit, but it's actually very good to use in some cases. I only use it if I have to. So, now, going back into that ability, this particular setup, once you get this morphed to where it is, it'll conjure icy shards around you up to skewer enemies in the area, immobilizing them for 3 seconds. Still, not bad. You know, I still run with it. And dealing 1645 frost damage every 1 second for 12 seconds. So basically, in a nutshell, it basically enemies are overcome with bitter cold, reducing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Let me just finish reading it and I'll explain it. Damage is done based on your max health and has a higher chance to apply chill status effect. Basically, it's going to slow them down, but it's going to give them more of a cold status. It's kind of like, put it this way. Think of it as if you were in a real-life perspective. Let's say you were, somewhere in the outer cold. Like, let's say you were up north, Arctic wind, and basically it tenses everything up, well, hypothetically speaking, it tenses up the muscles in one's body, therefore causes a bit of like almost an inside, not hyperthermia, but basically it just slows you down in an agonizing pain, and you have a hard time walking. I'll put it that way, or moving. So, anyways, Crystal Shield. Well, still in the last stages of the final morph. This is my second ability, and the second backhand bar, or the second weapon bar. So basically here, you spin a shield of ice around you, absorb up to 66, 852 damage from only 3 projectiles. Keep this in mind. If it's more than 3 projectiles, it won't save you. So just keep that in mind. It's a help. It's a helpful but effective shield to use. Just keep that in mind, and you won't go wrong. Basically, each time you absorb a projectile, you restore 831 magicka. So, which is pretty good. I mean, like I said, still, some of these builds, like some of these morphs, are good. You gotta play around with some abilities just to make things work. Which in this case, I was messing with this build so many times. I just couldn't get myself to not mess with it anymore. I basically left it alone. The moment I got everything set, I ran away and left it alone. So, anywho, now we're getting to Frozen Gate, still being in the process of leveling up, so. Summon, basically what this does, it requires 2970 magicka, which really isn't that bad still, that's still good. You summon an ancient portal, which arms after 1.5 seconds and lasts for 15 seconds. Basically what this is, it's kind of like the rendition version of the chain. I believe the Dragon Knight has that build where it's a chain with the Dragon Knight standard. It's similar to that, but this one's a little bit better. You basically, what that does, now, let me use something as an enemy. How about like this trial dummy for an example? So basically, you hit it, you place it. Now, it'll work regardless, if there are in the area. You can basically do this. And what it'll do, that will actually bring them closer to the tank. So you can have a better chance, for you and your party having a better chance to get the ads quicker. Now on bigger targets like bosses, it won't work, but on smaller ads, it's effective and it'll pull them close to you. And basically that's how it works. And for the record, the weapon I have, the secondary weapon I have is a frost staff. So if you're running an ice tank, make sure you get a frost staff, which is quite effective in most cases for an ice tank build. Just want to clear that up real quick. And for the next part of the second ability slot, which now here I made sure to get this from the Destruction Staff ability. So you want to run this as well. Blockade of Frost. It's the Wall of Elements morph, which actually is helpful. So this basically is everything in a nutshell. You basically slam your staff down to create an ice barrier in front of you, dealing 679 frost damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second, and applying frost safeguard for basically frost safeguard for 6 seconds. I'm speaking too fast. Frost safeguard for 6 seconds to you and your nearby allies that absorbs up to 11,264 damage from projectiles, which is not bad. But it says here, chilled enemies become frozen and are immobilized for 4 seconds. Still, not bad. Now, we're going to get down to the last two parts here of this thing, and I will show you the champion points setup as well. So basically now, for the last part of this build, now, I know before I say anything, people are going to say, hey, wait a minute, why are you running this? Now, there's a reason for this. Now, you always come up with a contingency plan. I don't care what y'all think, and to be perfectly honest, it's my way of a contingency plan. It's a last resort. If you ever run into a snag, or your group runs into a snag, it kind of helps. But keep in mind that, like I said, not everybody's going to have the same build set up. Some people are going to be like, well, I don't want to do it that way, or I don't want to do it this way. But the thing is, sometimes certain builds can save your life. And I'll be perfectly honest, it's one that, I'm not going to lie, is I find it personally to run those builds, and I find it interesting. And good morning, Devil Dog. Good morning. So anyways, so going into this build, we're doing budding seeds, which this is not. It's like I said, this is my last resort thing. It requires 2430 magicka. So basically, what this is all in a nutshell, it's summon a field of flowers which blooms after 6 seconds, healing you and allies in the area for 6,835 health. So basically, while in the field of flowers, you and allies are healed for 667 health every 1 second, which means when that's active for a certain amount of time, they'll get healed for that amount for 1 second. It says here you can activate this ability again to cause it to instantly bloom. An ally within the field can activate the harvest synergy, healing for 46 health over 5 seconds. So that basically it's a 5 second duration, which is pretty good if I activate again. Now, I keep doing that, and it's force of habit. So now, believe it or not, on this build, I do have a werewolf. This is a werewolf build. My necromancer and my Khajiit healer, my Templar healer, are actually vampires, and this one is actually a werewolf, which actually helps me a little bit more. Now, the werewolf is a bit tankier than the vampire. The vampire is usually good for magical recovery. The only drawback to the werewolf build is you're basically going to have a little bit more health, so that's not bad. But I don't normally use the werewolf build very often. I just use it for the hit point increasement a little bit. And that basically helps. Basically right now I'm at the werewolf transformation morph, so which is not bad. And what's nice about the pack leader that there are these little other werewolves that these wolves will basically. There's two other wolves that will follow you and help you, which is good. Downside is that if you turn into a werewolf, the poison can and will kill you. So keep that in mind if you decide to go werewolf. Um, if you are kind of like a Magicka-based warden, I would recommend going vampire if you choose to. I've seen like Magicka builds go to werewolf, but it doesn't help with your Magicka recovery. You're just gonna get more, if you're a hybrid. I wouldn't even. I don't know. I'm still not liking the whole deal with the hybrid. So now, basically in the champion points, we're gonna go nitty gritty. So this is what I'm running in champion. So we are gonna go into the the nitty gritty of all this mess. What's underneath the hood of my warden? So anywho, as you can tell, if you have enough points to do what I'm doing for mine, have at it. So basically what I'm running on my warden, I guess we're going to have to start here. So we go in here. Make sure you get 20 points into blast. That'll increase your healing done by 1% per stage. Per stage. Now over to, I guess we could swing over to here and we'll work our way. So right now on this build, I am running. So basically you want to do preparation, which will reduce your damage taken from non-player attacks by 5% per stage. So I have this maxed out to 20, so this actually helps out me in the long run. Increases. Okay, so basically now the next part is quick recovery. Increases your healing taken by 1% per stage, which make sure you max this out to 20 because that will help. Another key factor there. Keep in mind when I'm showing you in this part here are passives prior to the actual slotted champion point abilities. This is also important to have on your tank. Reduce the damage you take from magical attacks by 1% per stage. Affects magic, flame, frost, and shock damage. So make sure, yet again, 20. Now for this last passive here. For Hardy, make sure you get this as well if you can do it. Reduces damage you take from martial attacks by 1% per stage. Affects physical, poison, disease, and bleed damage. Make sure you get that slotted in. Well, not slotted, but make sure you have this set as well as a passive, because like I said, this is going to help you in the long run. Now, for here, you want to do Eldritch Insight. Make sure you get that to 20. That's a passive. So basically, you want to go all the way to 20. It'll grant you 260 max magicka per stage. So your current bonus when you get up to 20 will be 520 magicka. So that's important to know. Keep that under the noted. Make sure you get this done as well. Your precision, which is your critical chance, your 160 critical chance per stage. I added this in here, so this would help me unlock a few other things in the near future. So I have that critical chance, which is my current bonus. Now here, we're gonna get into something a little bit more complicated. So this is gonna take you into. So basically, everything on this tree as well is passives. Just keep this in mind. So you want to make sure you're in this section here of, now this is going to say Extended Might, so make sure you stay on the Extended Might, but make sure you get these passives as well. So we're going to start off in the center, Piercing, make sure you get this as well. It'll give you a 350 offensive penetration per stage, so once you max out, you'll get a 700 offensive penetration. Now, this here, Flawless Ritual, I've gotten this as well, so you want to increase your chance to apply a magical status effect by 30% per stage. So basically, you max this out to 40, you'll get a 60% increased chance. Now over here, War Mage, I also add this in here, so that gives me, this will basically grant me a 100 weapon and spell damage to magical attacks. Affects magic, flame, frost, and shock damage. Make sure you max out to 30, like I said, depending on the points you have for champion. Now, let's swing over to this side here for Battle Mastery. This is important too. This will also increase your chance to apply a martial status effect by 30% per stage. If you max this out, provided by enough points, you can go all the way up to 40, and you can have a 60% increased chance. So basically, the more you have, the better you're going to be. This is also another key thing I've also ran, was a Mighty. This will give you 100%, or not 100%, I'm sorry, grants 100 weapon and spell damage to martial attacks. This will basically affect physical, poison, disease, and bleed damage as well. Make sure you get that to 30. Like I said, points depending on what you have. Now, for the slottable, basically for the slottable items, or the slottable champion points that you want to use, you want to max this out. Duelist rebuff, make sure you max this out to 50. It reduces your damage taken by a single target attacks by 3% per stage. Make sure you get this up to 50, and it's slotted into your blue bar. So basically, you max out to 50, you'll get the 6% damage reduction, which will actually help. And then over here, make sure you get this maxed out as well, the 50. This is Enduring Resolve. This is also important for your tank. It'll basically reduce the damage taken by damage over time effects by 3% per stage. Max out to 50, you'll get a 6% damage reduction. Here we go. So basically now, Bulwark is key. This one you do have to max out. There's no way of like in between to stop it. You gotta max this out completely to 50. So basically what this does is while you have a shield or frost staff equipped, your spell and physical resistance is increased by 1900. So no sense about it. It goes up to 1900. Once you have it maxed out, you can slot it in to your blue bar. And last but not least, for this section of the blue, Unsalable, which reduces your damage taken by area effect attacks by 3% per stage. My current bonus right now is 6% damage reduction. So make sure you get that max out to 50 and slot it as well. So basically these, 1, 2, 3, these ones right here I am showing you right now. These are slottable. Make sure you slot them up and you should be all set. I believe everything here is done with the blue tree. So now this one, this is all going to be primarily all passives. So you can see where I have everything here. Like Soul Reservoir is going to be at 33, but this hasn't gotten to 33 yet. But all these passive right now, Breakfall, 50, 75 for Wanderer to reduce the cost of your traveling in way shrines. Fortune's Favor is also important. It'll help increase your gold. That's all the way at 50. Gilded Fingers is another thing. You can also get gold gained either by dungeons and trials. Inspiration Boost, I have this at 45, so this will actually increases your crafting inspiration gain by 10% per stage. So it's at 30%. Make sure you get that at 50. So basically, the only things I have slottable at 50 are Treasure Hunter. This will increase the quality of items you find in treasure chest. That's here at 50. Over here, Rationer. This is also important. It'll adds 10 minutes to the duration of any food drink that increases your character stats per stage. So basically, it's at 30. So you make sure you want to get that into your craft bar as well, along with your Treasure Hunter. Over here, Liquid Efficiency is also key. That's another slottable. This one you have to basically fully get it up to 75 in order for it to be active. So basically make sure you equip that into your crafting bar. This basically will tell you whenever you use a portion or potion or poison, you have 10% chance to not consume it. So basically, that will help you in the long run. So if you have a potion, and you drink it, you won't have to worry too much about consuming it too much. This is also important. Make sure you get this one equipped. Also, in your crafting bar, which is Steed's Blessing, increases your out of combat movement speed by 0.4% per stage. So again, when you max this out in the slottables, you'll get a 20% movement speed. So that's not that bad. That's actually pretty good in perspective. So that will basically cover everything. Like I said, these passives are basically self-explanatory. Just max them out the best you can. Whatever you don't do, you can always rebuild it back up later on. So, don't get discouraged if you don't have enough points. My key suggestion is if you don't have enough points to do all the passives in this tree, start them out, a couple here and there, and then work them up. And so that's basically self-explanatory. It's easy enough to do. And I'm trying to break this down as much as I possibly can in this type of stream, so everybody get an idea that I'm not going to rush it and show people, like, okay, this is how I set up the X, Y, and Z. That's not the way I want to do this. I want to take my time, explain this to y'all, so you got an understanding how it's really done. Now, the fitness. Now, make sure you do all this. So basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you how to really do this part now for your fitness. We're going to start off with the slottables, and then we'll work on the passives, and then whatever points pending on your champion points still. So whatever champion points you have, it's going to depend on how much you can really put in. So basically, we're going to start off we're going to reverse this time around. For slottables, balanced vitality. If you max this out to 50, you'll get 1,400 max health, but it also grants 28 max health per stage. So if you max this out, this is what you'll get for a bonus. Keep in mind, the higher you go up on champion points on these things for slottables, the higher chances you have for bonuses. And I'll tell you what, they work out sweet. So anyways, so the next slottable item you want to put into your fitness bar is going to be fortified. So you basically want, it'll grant you keep in mind now, this is maxed out. So at 50, if you go all the way to 50, it'll grant you 34.6 armor per stage. Basically right now, my current bonus where it lays is at 1731 for armor. Make sure you slot that out as well. Up here, you also want to do this as a slottable, is rejuvenation. Basically what it does, it grants 1.8 health, magicka, and stamina recovery per stage. Make sure you max it out at 50 and then slot it in. Once you max it out, you'll get a bonus of 90 health, magicka, and stamina recovery. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So we'll get down to the last part of the other slottable. So basically, this is also important. Expert evasion. So basically, your next roll dodge is free of cost. After consuming this effect, you cannot gain it again for 30 seconds. This one, you have to fully, to get this one active, you gotta fill the whole entire bar up to 50 and then slot it. So keep that in mind. Now, everything else for passive. So what I'm gonna say is, I'll make this part short for I'll make this short for the passives here. So basically, max 20 your champion. Okay, so basically max all your champion points at 20 on Defiance. This will actually reduce the cost to break free by 110 stamina per stage. Once you max out to 20, you get a 220 cost reduction. Pretty good, huh? Now, for the next passive, we want to do Tumbling. You max this out to 30. Basically what will happen is, okay, so basically Tumbling, it reduces the cost of roll dodge by 120 stamina per stage. So once you max out to 30, you'll get a 240 cost reduction. That's not bad for a passive. I guess we'll go over here. So basically, this one's self-explanatory. You don't need to really. It's easy to figure it out. The only thing I have slide here is Mystic Tenacity, which is good. So this will actually reduce the duration of elemental status effects applied to you by 5% per stage. So basically, when you max this all the way out to 50, you get 25% reduced duration. So that's not that bad. You know, like I said, some of these passives aren't bad, but other things as well I will get into. We're going to do Sprinter, self-explanatory. I can just slow it here for y'all if you want to read it real quick, but basically what this will do, it reduces the cost of sprint by 20 stamina per stage. So when you max that out, you obviously get a bonus of 40 cost reduction. This one is no-brainer. I mean, tanks run this one very much, which is the Hero's Vigor. It'll grant 280 max health per stage. So, you know, anybody who's a tank, they know exactly what this part will be like. It's 500. Okay, so 560 max health and on top of everything else. So, like I said, it's a no-brainer. This right here, Piercing Gaze, is also good. Though it's not bad. It's kind of hit or miss with this one. Increases your stealth detection by 1 meter per stage. So even if you max this out to 30, I mean 3 meters of Piercing Gaze, you know, it's okay. I mean, I don't know how to really put it in words, but it's just okay. And the last passive you want to do, we're going to ignore this one because that one I just had leftover points, so we just ignore that top one right there. But I'm going to get over here. So, Tempered Soul. Return to life after resurrection with 5% more resources per stage. Like I said, you max this one out, you get 10% more resources. Hey, you know, can't complain about that part. And now, let's see, where did I not go yet? Okay, so going down into Wind Chaser. I don't know why they call it Wind Chaser. They should have given it something else. So basically now in this little area here, keep in mind I didn't activate any of these right here because there's no need to. I'm not high enough yet. So I kind of left them alone. So we're going to go here to Hasty, which you want to increase your movement speed. This is important. So basically, with Hasty, it'll increase your movement speed when sprinting by 2% per stage. So basically, this is a very small one. If you have 16 champion points, you can basically just dump it in there really quick. And you only get like a current, like for me right now, for my current bonus is 4% movement speed. So like I said, this one's a very simple one. It's not going to be like 50... 20, 50, you know, 30. At least you have that little bit there to, you know, kind of like have. So now we're narrowing down to the home stretch. I'll start from the bottom. So we have this fortification key, very, very key. It increases the amount of damage you can block by 2% per stage. So this one just goes up to 30, and once you max out to 30 as a passive, you basically get 4% block mitigation. You know, I'm not going to complain about that. As much as I would, you know, have to disagree about it, but a 4% block mitigation is a good thing. And you know what? I don't want any higher than that. This is also another key passive. So basically this will reduce... Okay, Tireless Guardian. This is another thing that actually helps as well. And most people... I don't know. I think I may have met one person who may not have done it, but I like to have all my passives, so it helps me in the long run. You know, so I'm not caught with my pants down, metaphorically speaking. So Tireless Guardian reduces the cost of block by 20 stamina per stage. So once you max this out, you know, you'll end up getting a current bonus of 40 block cost reduction. Now, let's talk about a very simple passive. It's overlooked at times, or maybe it isn't, but there's some people have a tendency to overlook at this particular one. And I've always run it. I've always run it on all three of my characters. Is Nimble Protector, a very simple one. Increases your movement speed while bracing by 3% per stage. So you get 6% movement speed. Basically what they mean by bracing is like when you block. So if you brace on something, if you block, you won't be like a slow turtle, or you won't be a tortoise, basically, and you don't have that problem. Now, this passive here, Savage Defense, reduces the cost of bash by 45%. 45 stamina. Let me reread that. It was kind of screwed up. Reduces the cost of bash by 45 stamina per stage. So if you max this all the way out to 30, you'll get a 90 cost reduction, which that's far more than good. That's actually that's awesome right there. And Bashing Brutality, when you increases your bash damage by 60 per stage. So if you max this all the way out to 20 as well, you'll get a 120. You'll get a 120 increased damage, which really isn't that bad. Like I said, the Bashing Brutality, it's good if you have like a sword and shield, and you just want to like really get in there and start bashing with it. Hey, the higher the bash, the better. I can't argue about that part. So anyways, that'll be enough there. So basically, everything in that nutshell of my champion points, what I'm learning for stats, ability. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people would beg to differ on my build. Some people would question the build. But the thing is, if you really don't want to die a lot in dungeons, and you want to be that, like, badass tank, people can talk about for a while, hey, it's worth it. I don't like steering people wrong. I don't think I can. I'm horrible about it. But it basically, everything in a nutshell is just basically self-explanatory. How to build it up, how to not die. I mean, unless you want to be a squishy noodle, hey, that's on you. And I know there's going to be some people who are elitists that are just like, oh, that's not how I do mine. I do mine this way. Like, it's fine, but you know what? There are other people who may have a different build setup, may have a different preference, and usually this particular build in general, which I find very helpful. So I think what I'll do tonight, at some point I will run, well, I should say will run, but there is a stream I probably will end up doing, but maybe, showing you how this build is actually done, how it can actually hold. But that's in a later video. Unfortunately, I don't really have enough time to show it today, and the progression team I'm running with tonight, they probably won't like the idea if I did a little streaming on it, so I'm trying to respect their boundaries and stuff, so I'm trying not to step on toes, and, not everybody likes to have the issues, they don't want to, like, have to deal with that, and there's not a lot of people who want to be on a stream. So I think that'll basically cover everything. And if you guys are wondering about the heart that's in the that's floating above the well, yeah. Real quick, I'll tell you how to get that heart. basically, if you have not yet completed the Crimson, the Crimson Public Dungeon by killing all the Crimson bosses, please do so, because this furnishing right here, this heart furnishing, is one hell of a decoration. And of course, you know, everything else around my guild hall has been done hugely, and I'm just kind of like right now gonna wrap up the video. So if you guys like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you have any comments or anything, please keep them positive, and make sure you leave them, you know, leave positive comments. No negative comments will be removed under own discretion. So make sure you leave a thumbs up, leave some good comments, and if you guys enjoy these videos or more of it, I will do more of them, and I will show you another build set. I think I did one on my healer a while ago, probably not, but I will show you a build set on my healer. But other than that, there's really not much else to look into. Just keep in mind, if you guys are looking for a guild, real quick, I forgot to mention one thing. If you guys are looking for a guild, I am going to do this. I am going to show you directly into it. But my guild is not your ordinary guild. We have, basically, we do have tons of openings. My guild's small, so I am looking for active people. The Ruins of AI. So a brief summarization real quick on it. This guild was based off of and believe it or not, a sunken city off the Mediterranean. Unfortunately, when I did design the guild, this guild is a way you gotta to join. We just basically you know, this is open to everybody. You know, this is open to the LGBTQ community, along with everything else. So this guild is welcoming to everybody from all backgrounds. Excuse me. Like I was saying, this guild is open to all people from different backgrounds, and very accepting. It's a balanced guild, a PvP guild, and we are always looking for active people who are willing to be part of like PvE, PvP. The only thing is, with this guild, it is a strict guild. Not many people make it. We usually give people about basically a trial period, and we, as a guild, we look for people who don't have any negative, you know. The criteria for this guild to join, you don't have to be a level, you don't have to basically you could be, usually prefer max level, 10? Well, minimum level, let me rephrase that. You have to be a minimum of a level 10 or level 5 to join. There's no CP requirement to be part of the guild. If you're a CP level, there's no CP level requirement. We do a majority of vet trials depending on the person's level or CP. As you can tell, we don't really take the negativity, the drama, we don't do the BS, and we don't take the elitism. There's a reason why I did it this way. Only because in the past I've ran with guilds that were elitists, and everybody in the guild, like my co-GMs, including myself, we all had agreed that elitism wasn't really allowed. It's a very subtle, peaceful guild, and you know, we like to help each other out, but you know, like I said, it's a small guild. Not many people do stay very long because some of them don't fit the criteria, or they kind of like, you know, basically what I'm saying is not everybody fits the criteria, and it's a very strict guild. Those who do stay, they will be moved up a rank. But if you are on a trial basis, for an example, in the ranks, the trial, since I couldn't do it, the trial basis, you're going to be just only talking guild chat and Clan Alliance resources, but that's the trial period. Villager basically is the trial period, and if you've been in the guild longer, you will move up to Squire, which means you're no longer considered in the trial. It means that now you're in the guild. So keep in mind, we are recruiting, but like I said, this guild's not going to be for everybody. We do have a Discord server. We do have a Facebook group page. Like I said, if you are into joining, and you have, if you're interested in joining, like I said, you'll be on a trial period for, not for long. Usually it's about like a month. And if you are interested in joining, please look us up, Ruins of AI, in the Guild Finder. We don't post ourselves up publicly. Not a lot. If we do post ourselves up publicly, it's only once in a blue moon. So if you are interested in joining and you want to be part of the team, or part of the guild, just make sure you apply, and we will take you in. We'll try you out for about a month, and if you do make it in, you'll have access to our Facebook group page and our Discord, so make sure you give us a try. There's no harm in trying, unless you know. So anyways, that being said, folks, I am going to say, basically what I'm going to say is, this is Michelle362. And, and if you apply to the Ruins of AI, just make sure you tell them that Michelle362, aka Michelle Paula on ESL. If you are a PS4 player and you're on the North American server, you can always hit us up. We're not on the Euro server, so if you're on the Euro server, you won't find us there. But if you're on the American server, North American server, please look us up at Ruins of AI, and we'll be happy to see you in, and we'll give you a try for about a month. And if you work out, then you'll be a full-fledged member. Like I said, we don't post ourselves up publicly. We are exclusive, and we are strict. But till then, looking forward to seeing everybody in the next video. Bye for now.